Coming up on Citrus TV News live at 7, Student Association has a new president.
And we sit down with President-elect Allie Curtis.
Plus, coverage from the watch parties of the 3 other candidates.
And the Bernie Fine scandal 1 year later, where we stand now.
It's all ahead on Citrus TV News live at 7.
Vice President Allie Curtis will take over the top position in the 57th session of Student Association. Good evening, I'm Nick Cardona.
And I'm Amy Littman. Curtis beat out 3 other candidates to win the presidency. That's our top story tonight. A record number of students turned out to vote this year. Almost 29% of students cast their ballots online or at polling stations around campus. Curtis received 1,221 votes, almost 30%. Student Life Chair and frontrunner PJ Alampi finished second, about 300 votes behind. The Daily Orange overwhelmingly endorsed Finance Board member Kyle Coleman. He finished third. And the youngest candidate, sophomore Iggy Nava, finished fourth. Comptroller Stephen DeSalvo won his second term with more than 65% of the vote. The announcement from Student Association came in just after midnight.
For the candidates that didn't win the election, it proved to be an emotional end to weeks of campaigning.
Citrus TV sent reporters to the watch parties for each of the presidential candidates.
And we start with Bobby Lee, who spent the evening with PJ Alampi.
It was high here earlier tonight at the election night watch party for SA presidential candidate PJ Alampi on the South Campus. About 24 students gathered to hear the election results. About 40 minutes after the polls closed, Alampi himself heard the bad news. Here's what he had to say.
You know, I thought we did an amazing job and we put on a really amazing race. And in the end, I believe that the students had a good chance to really, speak their mind and put in their own opinion on the election. And I felt they had their choice today, and that's what they did.
Now we'll send it over to Louis Ortiz over the watch party for Kyle Coleman.
Thanks, Bobby. Earlier tonight, I was in Kyle Coleman's campaign headquarters on Ostrom Avenue, where he anxiously awaited for the election results.
We lost. Okay.
At about 12:30 a.m., he received a call from Student Association saying that he did not win the election and that he got third place. Later, after he learned the results, I spoke to Kyle about his future with SA.
Now that I've said from the start that no matter what, I'll still be an SA. I don't know what I'm going to do, but somehow, some way, the problems that I ran on, the problems that all 4 of us ran on, they're still there tonight. They're still there tomorrow. They'll still be there in January when you start. So. I'm going to stay in.
Kyle also congratulated Allie Curtis, and he hopes to collaborate with her as president. Now let's go to Brian Chung to see the reaction from Iggy Nava's headquarters.
Iggy Nava's campaign party was exemplary of the lower profile campaign that he ran through the race for SA presidency. In attendance only his campaign manager Boris Gresley, his roommate, and friends. Iggy wasn't present because he returned to Brazil and was not present when the call came in that he did not win the SA presidency.
It's a learning experience. It was tough, but I think that it's what the student body decided, and you have to respect it.
Iggy Nava does not have plans to return to Student Association as he does not currently hold an elected position. For Citrus TV News, I'm Brian Chung.
Curtis served under President Dylan Lustig in the 56th Student Assembly. She was a major factor in getting SA to 100% capacity, and now one of her highest priorities is getting it back to 100% capacity. The other pillar of her platform is job and internship creation for students. Curtis wants to work more closely with Career Services to make it easier for students to find employment. And Curtis spoke to Citrus TV's Amanda Harry today about her plans for her presidency. Here's an excerpt of her interview. You can find the full version on our website.
What do you feel about your campaign strategy helped to get you this win?
Well, fortunately I had the experience of working on the Dylan Lustig campaign last year. I was really the driving force behind that. I put all of my effort, all of my energy into that, and I realized what it takes to run an effective campaign and what kind of campaign tactics you can really leave behind and don't do as well. So I was able to take that and apply that to my own campaign, and there were a lot of similarities between the way Dylan's campaign was run and the way mine was run.
So how do you feel your term as vice president for Dylan Lustig is going to help you in the future as president?
Right, well, I think one of the things that set me apart from other candidates in general is the fact that I've had experience working in every single committee, and I've really had a hand in all aspects of SA. I've had a very broad overview of SA, and I've gotten really in depth in many of the different aspects, from academic affairs to student engagement and PR.
And do you have any idea about who your cabinet may include, your vice president?
Of course, this is a great question. Honestly, can say I have no idea. I didn't pick anyone ahead of time. Of course, there are people I have in mind that have shown me through either their just overall representation and what they've done within the organization and their work, that I see them as qualified candidates. And there are people who really came out during my campaign and showed that they're very hardworking students and had the same ideals that I have.
And if there's one thing you could accomplish as SA president, what would it be?
I mean, I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's doing a lot of things. There have been many things that Dylan has accomplished, and you never want to look back and say, well, there was just one thing I did during my candidacy, and I want to make sure that everything I've promised is achieved, and then we go beyond that. And I want to leave a legacy here at SU of competitive elections, students who are excited to get involved, and a very strong student government overall, and one that students can connect with and students are seeking positions on and wanting to get involved in.
Current SA President Dylan Lustig endorsed Allie Curtis to be his successor, and he says he believes she is more than capable to take over. As President Lustig says, he is most proud of his work with the Vera House to help domestic violence victims. He is also proud of meeting with President Obama to discuss the ongoing problem with student loans and tuition. Lustig's biggest initiatives include the creation of Impact Week and a campaign against cyberbullying. However, Lustig says he wishes he made himself more available to students across campus.
I'd say the thing I'm most proud of is two things. One would be working with the Vera House and promoting the White Urban Campaign against domestic violence and sexual abuse. We raised more than double the amount that they've ever raised here at SU in less than a month. So that was incredible. And the second thing was we did a lot of work on the Stafford federal loans.
You can see our entire interview with President Dylan Lustig on our website, CitrusTV.net. Coming up on Citrus TV News, the Bernie Fine allegations 1 year later.
We take a look back at the accusations that rocked a university.
But first, here's Rachel Walski with a quick look at your weather.
It was a beautiful day here in central New York. The sun was out and the temperatures were in the high 40s. But will this weather continue for the remaining students on campus over break? Find out during your full weather forecast when Citrus TV News returns.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
Now, some action from the courts. Billie Jean King renewing her rivalry with Arthritis. First set, furious volley, and right to the net for a winner. Beautiful forehand there. Arthritis, stunned. And here, match point. Billie Jean with the ace, taking it in straight sets. Afterwards, a jubilant Billie Jean King.
Tennis is a weapon for me with arthritis. There's nothing like it for me to hit a ball, run to the ball, anytime, any court. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's your weapon against arthritis? Find out at fightarthritispain.org.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
1 year ago tomorrow, Syracuse University's campus turned upside down.
It was on November 17, 2011 that allegations of sexual abuse against former assistant basketball coach Bernie Fine became public.
What followed was a complicated web of accusations and lawsuits.
Last week, a court announced Fine would not be charged, ending the case against him.
CitrusTV's Morgan Beach tells us how we got to this point.
Research of the allegations included 100,000 pages of documents and interviews with 130 witnesses. ESPN was the first to break the story only weeks after Penn State's Jerry Sandusky was accused of sexual assault last November.
And, for a little while it seemed like this was, an epidemic among big-time college athletic programs.
Many sources argue that the allegations against Fine were released into the media too quickly without enough evidence. Yet Gutterman states that journalists have a responsibility to report extreme cases such as sexual abuse.
Somebody comes to a reporter and says, this happened, and it's abuse and it's corruption, then journalists have an obligation to look into these issues and write stories about it or go on the air with it. So this was newsworthy and impossible and irresponsible for the local media not to jump on it as well.
Since the case started, several of Fine's accusers, including Zach Tomaselli and Floyd Van Hooser, lied about their allegations.
In some ways, I think the press did a good job of trying to get to the bottom of things, but you're limited by your sources.
Lori Fine, wife of Bernie, filed a defamation lawsuit against ESPN reporter Mark Schwartz and producer Artie Burko. She claims they took her words out of context to present her in a different way.
I don't think the story's over. There's still another chapter or two in this.
Fine has not spoken to the media since the case has been dropped. ESPN still defends itself in the libel lawsuit as the case remains pending in the Federal Court of Albany. Morgan Beach, CitrusTV News.
Fine's wife Lori is still pursuing a lawsuit against ESPN. She says the network recklessly broadcast charges that she had sexual relationships with former players.
Syracuse University welcomed a Saudi Arabian prince to campus today, giving him the Chancellor's Medal for Outstanding Achievement. Prince Sultan bin Salman is being honored for his commitment to fostering an increased understanding of his home country and promoting disability rights. Bin Salman is next in line for the throne. He got a master's degree from the Maxwell School in 1999.
And for those students that aren't driving home, Student Association will be providing free buses to the Regional Transportation Center and Hancock International Airport today and tomorrow. Buses will leave from Shine Student Center on the hour. They will also be available on Sunday, November 25th for students returning from break.
Crazy that it hasn't snowed yet before Thanksgiving break. This is really rare for Syracuse.
And we'll be right back with Rachel Wolski with a full forecast.
I'm Brant Hale, and coming up on Citrus TV, I'll tell you what Thanksgiving creep is and why it's going to move Black Friday to Black Thursday.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Hey, my name's Katie, and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student, and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie, if you want me to do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
this weekend?
This weekend's fine, because I'll be talking about it.
And then you can.
We'll figure it out.
Rachel Walski joins us now for a look at our weather.
So what do you think the weather is going to be like this weekend, Rachel?
This weekend's going to be pretty similar to what it was earlier this week and today. Currently, it's about 47 degrees, partly cloudy. Winds are at around 6 miles an hour. So it's been pretty crisp today, pretty nice day for the weather, I would think. If we take a look at our current temperatures, we see that around our area is in the mid to high 40s, which is pretty nice weather for this time of year because normally it's a lot colder, usually in the 30s. If we take a look at our current surface map, we see that there is a high pressure system headed our direction, which is going to bring some cooler temperatures like we're experiencing right now. They're not too low, but they may get lower in the coming weeks. If we take a look at our current dew points, we see that the air right now is pretty dry, but it's not super dry, pretty comfortable right now, but as the winter continues, it might get a little drier. And if we take a look at our 5-day forecast, on Saturday and Sunday, it's supposed to be pretty sunny with temperatures in the high 40s, temperatures in the low, in the high 20s at night. And if we take a look early into next week, we're seeing some partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the low 50s.
So Rachel, this Thanksgiving, is it going to stay this mild?
I think it's going to be pretty mild, maybe even a little warmer than it is this week, but we'll have to see when the day rolls around.
Thank you.
All right, then the biggest shopping holiday of the year is 1 week from today. Well, maybe we're only just 6 days away. Reporter Brent Hale has a story on why the early bird doorbusters are now for the night owl.
Friday has moved to Thanksgiving this year, in pop culture and in retail sales. Many stores are now opening their Black Friday doorbusters on Thanksgiving Day. Destiny USA will open at midnight, and some stores will open as early as 8 p.m.
To me, Thanksgiving is a day when you're supposed to spend it with friends and family.
I don't like the idea of it. I would probably never go shopping on Thanksgiving Day, and I think it's not a good thing for families.
I don't think it's a good idea. We should stay home with our families and enjoy it, and the people who have to work in the stores have to be here. It's bad enough I work at the hospital and I have to be there, but we should be home with our families.
Consumers seem to agree that Thanksgiving is meant for families, not shopping. Retail employees of stores such as Target agree and have shown the sentiment online against the corporation's decisions. On Change.org, an organization where people start petitions and encourage others to sign and support, Target employee C. Renee of Corona, California, has spoken out against Target's Thanksgiving Day opening. Renee argues against the opening for family reasons. Quote, "Having Thanksgiving off really does give me that one day to relax and visit family I otherwise would have no time to see." End quote. She asked supporters to sign, demanding that Target take the high road and save employees from what she calls the Thanksgiving creep. As of 3 p.m. today, over 229,000 supporters have signed Renee's petition. While it seems the point may be moot at this time, such activism by retail employees and consumers could prevent retailers from creeping on Thanksgiving in the years to come. Brent Hale, CitrusTV.
Mark Sell is in with sports.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing that people are going to drop the turkey and go to the malls, but I got to eat on Thanksgiving. But one thing is certain, SU football is hungry for the postseason, but it has to get through an SEC team first. All that and more coming up in sports. Citrus TV News rolls along right after this.
Different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
Now, some action from the courts. Billie Jean King renewing her rivalry with Arthritis. First set, furious volley, and right to the net for a winner. Beautiful forehand there. Arthritis, stunned. And here, match point. Billie Jean with the ace, taking it in straight sets. Afterwards, a jubilant Billie Jean King.
Tennis is a weapon for me with arthritis. There's nothing like it for me to hit a ball, run to the ball, anytime, any court. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's your weapon against arthritis? Find out at fightarthritispain.org.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Bring this sweet.
So when professional bowler Pete Weber won the U.S. Open this year, he immediately screamed, "Who do you think you are? I am." Now, that may not sound grammatically correct, but one thing is for sure. The nation will know who Syracuse football is if the team clinches bowl eligibility tomorrow night. Now, the Missouri Tigers are the ones that stand in the Cuse's way from renting some bowling shoes. And you know what? It'll be a challenge for the SU defense because Mizzou runs a spread option offense. That means its quarterback, James Franklin, has the option to either run the ball himself or air it out to a bunch of his receivers on the field. Overall, Franklin and Missouri are averaging more than 25 points per game this year, but Syracuse has packed a punch all year as well, with more than 28 points per contest. Now, while the football season inside the Carrier Dome is over, basketball is starting up again, and Syracuse Hoops will tip off its home opener against Wagner on Sunday. And it may sound like an easy win at first, but the Seahawks might be tougher than you think. Last season, the Green and White won a school record 25 games, and it also made it to the semifinals of the NEC tournament. But SU's been on a roll in non-conference play. The last time the Orange lost a game to a team not in the Big East, you'd have to go back 4 years. Cleveland State knocked off Jim Boeheim and company in December of 2008. So basketball wants to get back to the Final Four, but today, that's where SU field hockey season has ended. The Orange fell 6-1 to top-ranked North Carolina in the national semifinals. The Killer, 3 UNC goals in the last 4 minutes of the half. On the other hand, 1 goal was all that men's soccer needed last night. The Orange bageled Cornell 1-0 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Senior forward Lars Muller scored early in the 10th minute. That's one of the reasons how the Cuse was able to take down the 11th-ranked Big Red. Goalie Alex Bono notched 3 saves, and he earned his 10th shutout of the year. So now Ian McIntyre's squad is now set to play in the round of 32 on Sunday night against Virginia Commonwealth. Well, back on the gridiron, the Bills haven't tasted the postseason in more than a decade. 6 losses on the year for Buffalo coming into last night, but its chances got a little better with a 19-14 win over the Dolphins. And we'll head out to a very chilly Ralph Wilson Stadium. In the first quarter, Leotis McKelvin got things going as he goes on the sidelines. And you know the rest. All the way he takes it to the hizzy. 79 yards, Bills go up 7-0. Also in that first quarter, listen to this. Marcus Thigpen says, "Okay, Leotis, you got that one. I'll raise you another." He takes the kickoff, 96 yards for the touchdown, so the Fish down 10-7. Fast forwarding late fourth quarter, Miami down, Ryan Tannehill intercepted by Byron Scott, and Buffalo goes on to win 19-14. A lot has changed in the world since 1993, but that was the last time the New York Knicks won their first 6 games of the season. It's time to turn back the clock as New York moved to 6-0 last night. And the Knicks got it done in San Antonio with the win over the Spurs. Late fourth quarter, Knicks are down 5. Raymond Felton goes up for the layup, so now the Knicks are only down 3, 90-87. Under 2 minutes left, Raymond Felton again. J.R. Smith bottoms up. Knicks now had the lead. Smith had 17 points off the bench. And now at this point, Jason Kidd, the icing on the cake from downtown. The Knicks go on to win 104-100. So now they're 6-0, like I said, for the first time since 1993. So the Knicks have had high expectations this year. The same deal has been for the new-look Nets. But so far so good, as last night Brooklyn beat the Boston Celtics to move to 5-2 on the season. And this man right here, Brook Lopez, a big reason how that happened. Nets are down late, but Joe Johnson able to go to Lopez as he's able to clean it up. And those two at it again. Johnson with the miss, Lopez with the finish. 24 points for Lopez, but not until Paul Pierce answers. Celtics only down 2 at this point, but Jason Terry misses the free throw. That would have made it a one-possession game, and Joe Johnson runs out the clock as the Nets hold on to beat Pierce and the Celtics 104-100, and they're playing at the new Barclays Center. I haven't been yet, but looking pretty good so far from what we've seen.
So, Mark, looking down the stretch, who has the best chance, Knicks or Nets?
Well, it's interesting because the Knicks are a much older team, and the big question is going to be how those legs are going to hold up. The Nets, Darren Williams was running the point.
Thank you, Mark.
And when we come back, American might have to say goodbye to one of its all-time favorite junk foods.
A company in Texas is going out of business. We'll be right back.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
You can say goodbye to Twinkies, cupcakes, and ding-dongs.
Hostess is going out of business. The Irvin, Texas company is closing its plants, putting its brand up for sale, and laying off its 18,500 workers.
A nationwide worker strike forced the company to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in January.
And Hostess was founded in 1930 and also makes Dolly Madison, Drake's, and Nature's Pride snacks. And thank you for joining us tonight on Citrus TV News. I'm Nick Cardona.
And I'm Amy Littman. Don't forget to check us out on our website, citrustv.net. Goodbye.